something which is available in basically without cost. Actually, that's one part. Second part, to use this Screenomatic, you do not need to install it actually. Basically, you not need to download it actually. You can directly open the website of Screenomatic and you can directly start using it, right? So without discussing much details, let's go to this website or maybe the downloader where we can directly start recording or exploring the features, right? So let me stop sharing this PPT first. So I think the details which I'm discussing are relevant and important to you, because I'm trying to engage a small kind of session for 1 hour at least, where we can have some kind of discussion, useful discussion, right? So let me share again my screen. Okay, so admit now. Okay, so if this window is available to me, Chrome tab, new tab. So this screen is visible now. If you can see in the in this taskbar, there is this icon. It is visible to the Screencast-O-Matic. So this is something which has been added in my extension as a regular service. So let's not go to this service. Let's go to the website of Screencast-O-Matic. So through where we can start having a brief idea about. So this is the typical service. Yeah, so I think this is visible. Okay, yes, sir. So this is the typical website of Screencast-O-Matic, right? So here you can see there are various details related to the free version or maybe the paid version of it also, right? So typically we can create a account here. So by keeping an account in this website will help you to basically have some kind of library of all the recorded videos with you, and you can directly upload into the YouTube or into the Google Drive or into the some other paid form. So that's the one advantage we get. We get basically due to having an account right in this. So creating account is obviously is free of cost in this site. Right, to start to record a video, you need to simply click on start recording for free, right? So you do not need to do anything. You do not need to even without creating an account in this website, we can record a small size of video, right? So now let's try. So if you click on start recording, it will initialize some services, and then you can simply click on launch free recorder. So it will start and it will launch some kind of recorder application, right? So let's wait for it to initialize. And if you want to keep an extension of its Screencast-O-Matic software, you can simply click on download and you can initialize this, right? So let me open this. So typically now it is initializing. Yeah. So let's wait for it to initialize. Okay. So now I need to stop sharing this screen. Let me do that. Okay. So now I am stop presenting. So let me share for screen. Okay. So yeah, just okay. So I hope this whole extension is visible to you, right? So this is the typical interface. Okay, so this is the typical area which will be captured, right? So as per our need, we can stretch it. Like suppose we want to record only this portion of your desktop, so we can simply drag and resize it, right? That's one part. That's one typical setting we get. So typically, let's place here and stretch it. So whatever operation, whatever action we perform in this portion will be captured. That's the default part, right? Now let's explore different features, right, one by one. So we have three possible modes of recording in this Screencast-O-Matic. First is typically to record a screen. So if I click on this mode, it will simply capture the screen actions, all the actions which are happening in the screen in this particular, within this particular region or area, right? That's one part. Second option we can have, we can enable a webcam also, right? So with this you're recording only. So if I click on webcam, it will record webcam mode. It will record only webcam input. It will not record the screen movement, right? So this is typically one way to record yourself. So whenever we engage some kind of lectures and you want to record your own movement, your own video, you can simply click on this mode and record. And if you want to combine both, right? So if you combine both, it means creating a video with the screen movement, and along with it, if you want to plug your own video, so this is the mode which is suitable for you. So in this mode, we can record both screen movement, desktop screen movement, as well as webcam. Webcam means your own video input. So these are the three basic modes of recording by this Screencast-O-Matic. That's one part. And for each mode, actually, it is having these different features, right? So like you can, in the free version, actually, it is having the capacity of recording of 15 minutes. That's one limitation we can get. And to upgrade it, to enhance this, to increase the size of possibly recorded video by paying a small amount of charge, we can have that feature also, right? So along with this extended time for recording video, you will get a lot of features also. So suppose you want to perform some kind of video editing features on a recorded video, so that you can get whenever we are paying some amount. So we will get two features. First is the extended time for recording a video, for recording a screencast video, and second is a lot of editing features we will get. That's one part, right? So, but for a free recording video, we'll have this 15 minutes limit. 15 minutes, so you can record any number of videos of length 15 minutes through this software. That's one part, right? So that's one thing. Second, if you want to, so naturally size means size of this area which we are trying to record. So if you increase or modify the size by any means, it will simply increase or enhance the area which we are trying to capture, right? So size means the size of screen area which we are trying to record. Now, if you can see, when I am dragging these boundaries, it is, so now it is 558 by 660. If I do this, it will be something else, right? So this size feature is too naturally basically related to the area which we are trying to capture, which we are trying to record. Now, this narration part is something related to your audio input. Right, so by default, it will take some kind of like right now for my system, it is detecting USB audio device. So it is to configure it is to configure or set up the proper audio device, proper audio input, right? So based on the setup we have along with this, we can select appropriate audio device by using this option. After that, it is not having any audio hardware attached to it, so it is not having this setting available with me. Now, if you go to the preference option, so there are some hotkeys available. So hotkeys means this kind of shortcut to perform during this recording. So like for webcam big hotkey, so you can have some kind of setup by default setup, or you can configure it by your own means, right? So it can have webcam preview. So a lot of these are some by default settings. You can make these settings as per our convenience, and we can create a kind of setup. So now let's create a small size video, right? So which is of having this default screen mode. So to record it, you need to simply so here you can see we have this option red REC recording for recording, right? And when I push this button, it will start recording. But before starting the recording, it will say 1, 2, 3 slide kind of countdown, right? So it will give at least 3 seconds you to be ready with your kind of content, right? So let me click on this And now you can see we have this appearance. So okay, now so in this video, let's create a video. So in this video, suppose we are trying to perform some operation like let's empty the cyclic bin and let's drag this inside this folder. That's one part, right? And now suppose so I can move this recording area during the recording also. So all the recordings which we are keeping with us, it will have all the moments. Like if I move this portion here, so it is recording. While recording also, we can move this area of area which is appearing or screencast or screen recording, right? So with this way, we can record and we can, so I think resize one which we cannot do. We cannot resize this window while recording. So let me check. So once you click on pause, now you can expand it, right? So then again, yes. So it again started with a counter that we have started recording, right? So so with this way we can record a simple video with a screen moments captured into it, right? So let me stop now. So let's first to see a preview of it. Okay, now so if we have done with recording, we can click on done. Now, so after clicking on done, we'll have these options, right? So typically before saving that video or before uploading the video, let's try to do some kind of editing on this video, right? So because we have not have the higher version of video editor, because these are the simplest feature which a video editor provides you without paying any fee, right? So we have a very small or default kind of video editor built into Screencast-O-Matic. So through this we can do few operations, like we can simply crop, or we can simply basically cut a portion of video, right? So out of this whole video of 15 minutes, we can take out a small portion. We can save a small portion of a particular video, recorded video, right? And in this video, you can add some kind of background music based on your choices. You can add some kind of captions, right? If you want to add captions of recorded video, you can add with this default editor, right? So after doing all these things, we can naturally is the last task is to save this video, right? So now we are saving this file. So after performing these basic editing on the video, recorded video, we will be having this last step is to upload this video, right? So we have 3-4 options. The default option is to directly upload this video into YouTube, right? Naturally, to upload this video, you need to have some kind of logins into the YouTube platform, because it will ask you to kind of providing login credentials, then only it will accept this video, right? That's the default way. Second way, this is what I'm talking about, that if we want to create a library kind of arrangement in the Screencast-O-Matic account, you need to create an account in Screencast-O-Matic website, and there you can upload these videos, right? And naturally, the last option is to save your recorded file in your local drive or local system or local folder. So with that, let's see. So once you click on this file to save, you can have two options or two formats for saving this video. One is AVI FLV. So AVI is a preferred way. So that's the one type you can select. So let me select AVI. Now in this, the second option is to basically have this name, right? So let me take demo as a name, right? So now this folder you can select based on your choices. So you can select on any specific folder to save this video. Right, so let's save on folders. Now, if you want to make this option cursor highlight, so wherever we move, so during the video recording, if we want to capture the moment of a cursor within the region of the video which we have selected, so that's what you can do. So we can select highlight, no cursor, just cursor, or changing the color of cursor. So these are the choices which we select based on our convenience. That if you want to highlight, if you want to keep the cursor movement in a video that we can do, right? So you can select highlight cursor, right? So, then open captions. So if you want to add captions, we can add these captions here. Now, after doing these basic setups, we can perform publish. So now publishing means it is a kind of pre-processing on this video, right? And after this, your video will be saved, and you can again say play on any other actor. So you can carefully see each and every cursor movement is captured here. So along with cursor, it is showing some kind of blue circle attached to the cursor arrow, and sometimes it is showing yellow, sometimes it is showing red. So basically, it is captured. So each and every cursor movement, each and every cursor operation is highlighted by the cursor pointer, right? So I think so. Let's close this video first. Okay, so let me close this video first. Done. So now, so this particular video is available with me, right? Now I can share this video to my students along with some kind of other documents, or maybe simply this video itself, right? So by using this screencast software or system, we can record a small size instructional video that is very useful, because whenever it is usually preferred that whenever we are sharing some kind of small concepts or a small instructional video with the students, it is preferred to have a smaller size videos. So it is better to create a video of 10 minutes or 5 minutes instead of creating a 15 minutes video, right? So because it is easy to manage and it is easy to read it or easy to understand it, right? So this particularly in the case of lab sessions, during the lab classes, it is preferred to create these kind of small size videos. Like in my case, I used to engage labs related to database experimentation. So I used to record these kind of small size video, right? And I used to share these kind of videos with the students. And whenever I want to understand something from their end, I ask them to record a video at their machines or their systems and share these videos with me to explain that they have completed assignment, they have recorded implementation, right? So this is how we can simply use this screencast heuristic without investing any cost, without creating any special configurations in the systems, right? So let me go back to the meeting. So I hope things are somewhat relevant, right? So whatever, so if you have any doubt on this part of discussion, kindly let me know. Right. So I hope this part is useful till now.
Yes, it's fine. It's okay.
So okay, sir, can we go for the second maybe tool?
Yes.
Yes.
This screen automatically is basically I preferably use it for the lab purpose.
Yes, that's what I am trying to explain. That
yeah. In lab, I explain the student about fundamentals and what they have to implement. After that, because we are not physically connected, that's why I don't know what the students are doing. Whether they are just copying or doing something, learning something. Then once they get the solution, they prepare a small video, a screencast video, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, explaining all those codes, what they have just written, that each line, what purpose they have just written this specific code. Okay, so by explaining these things, we also come to know that yeah, students is getting everything, and students also they can only better explain if they have done it by themselves. So these tools can be used for different purposes, even for creating some video regarding screencast, even some video other than screencast, using both of the web current screencast, by explaining some concept like tools, description, and all those things. So now I think it's okay. Is there any question regarding screencast meeting?
So let's wait for 1 minute at least for questions. If
I
anyone has
hope
any question.
many of the participants has already used this tool, but yeah, it
Yes.
can be used in different form.
Okay, so let's go to the other tool, which is naturally that might be again a repetition because these are the some convenient and freely available tools, right? So the next tool is possibly is a presentation tube, which again many of us are already using for recording the discussions and kind of video recording, class video recording, lecture video recording, right? So this is the typical website from where we can get, from where we can download the light version of a presentation tube, right? So in this, we can see that this is the typical interface of presentation YouTube. So you can see again in this case also, in the case of presentation tube also, we have 4 different modes to be recording for recording a video, right? So you can see in the bottom. So let me see if we can download it. Yeah, so let's download it first. Parallelly we can discuss. Okay, so it's having only 3.36 MB. Okay, now let's let's download it in the system. Yeah, it is okay. So now it is downloaded. It is perfectly available in my system. So just let's see whether it is downloaded or not. Just this. So we can see that the default screen is visible. Now let me see. Let me see whether it is installed or not. Then only we can discuss. I'm trying to fix some issue, and let's wait for a few seconds. Now the installer is not working. So let's see. Yeah. So typically in the presentation tube, we have these 4 modes available. One is typically used to record the screen movement. Naturally, whenever we are recording something, it will always have this audio element into it, right? So we can have, so in this presentation tube, we have 4 modes. So in each mode, there will be the audio of the presenter basically. So whenever we go for very first mode, which is called slide mode. So in this slide mode, you need to import the slide, right? So this option called open slide. So you can simply import a PPT content or a PDF content, which is having slides. So after importing the PPT, we can simply basically you can simply click on play or start, right? So if you have selected this slide mode, it will simply move the slides along with your audio input, right? So it will be recording the PPT moment. PPT basically scrolling along with it. It will have audio element into it, right? So in this mode, typically we can have a slide narrations on the audio. That's the typical name you can give. The second way, second mode is of recording with camera, right? So if you have imported these slides into the presentation tube, and if you want to add kind of your own video into it, so you can have this mode. So by enabling cam mode, we will be having this slide presentation along with the presentation presenter video into it. Naturally, there will be audio also, right? And this is the third option, which is called cam beside. So basically, cam beside is similar to the cam mode. The difference only is that there will be 2 streams of presentation. In one stream, maybe in this area, one stream area will have this PPT part, and in the second stream, along with it, in the separate area, vertically separated area, we'll have the presence of the speakers or the teacher's video, right? So here we have two streams in the cam beside mode. Whenever we are recording a video in cam beside mode, we'll have two streams, two portions in the screen to be captured. In one portion, the presentation content or PPT will be displayed, PPT will be attached. In the right side to the portion, the presenter video or presenter screen will be available, right? So with this, we will have again this third mode of presentation recording. There we have a PPT, along with it, we will have some kind of video, right? In the case of fourth mode of recording in presentation YouTube, which is cam over. Cam over simply provides a facility you to place the presenter video into within the PPT area, within the area where we have kept the content. So suppose we have opened a PPT, particularly PPT content or PPT slide, we can place the speakers or presenter video within that area. You can place the presenter video, presenter face within a PPT page, right? That's what the facility we have in the cam over mode. So basically, along with camera means along with presenter video, we have three possibilities. One is to simply record the video, where video of presenter will be strictly kept in a one right side portion in a recorded video. Second, we have basically this beside option, which is naturally to have separate stream strictly. And third, we have this flexibility to move or place the presenter video on any portion of the PPT, right? That is the third one. Now, along with these features, recently they have added this feature called screen. So it is to record the screen. Now, it is naturally equivalent to the options which we have discussed in case of screen recording, screen cosmetic software. It simply provides a kind of recording the screen feature, right? So in this, you can record the screen feature. Screen means screen of your desktop, screen of your laptop. So whatever operations, whatever functions we are doing on the screen or desktop system, we can record it along with our audio, right? So in this case, in this screen mode, we cannot have this possibility of adding the presenter video into the presentation to video in this mode, screen mode. So that's why going for a screen cosmetic kind of recording is preferred, because there you can place the presenter video in the recording also. So this is about the possible modes of recording in the presentation tube. That's one part. And naturally, whenever we want to suppose you want to make some changes on the basic settings of the presentation tube, you can perform like if you can see this video resolution. So if you change the resolution, it will naturally resize the area, resize the portion of video which will be recorded, right? And that is one part. Along with it, it will change the quality of the video which will be recording, right? So that's the typical setting we have. Second, below to that, we have this camera icon. So this camera icon basically indicates that we can enable or disable the camera input, right? Suppose we do not want to record the video, you can simply click the on and off button based on the preference. Now, if you've selected that camera input should be there, your video should be available, right? So you can select the source also. Source means suppose you have connected with multiple cameras, some kind of inbuilt camera, some kind of external camera, so you can choose the appropriate choice for your video quality. Now, after that, we will get into the audio settings. So settings for the audio inputs. So like in the case of screen cosmetic also, we have this choice to select the appropriate audio device, audio input device. So there also we can select the so from audio device option, we can select the appropriate audio input device. That's one part. And here we have this audio level. So if you want to keep audio level 10, it means this whole audio input will be recorded. If you keep it 5, means this audio input will be little reduced for level, right? So these are the basic settings which we basically have in this default presentation tube, and let me see if this installed version is working with me. So let me stop sharing first. Now let me share this whole screen. Okay, so I have installed this open. Okay, because of some maybe installation issue, it is not responding basically. So Screencast investigates enabled. Okay, so let me see again. Yeah, so actually, after get started, latest file. So this is the typical site of Screencast. So let me see the full version of installer. It might be kept in different ways. So just because we are trying to save or download a lighter version, it is failing to initiate the service. So let me try it again. Though we have done it earlier also. It's already there. Let me try again. It's finished. Let me try. So that might be some kind of casualty actually. It is not initializing the installed version of presentation tube. Let me see if I have installed. Okay, it is not created a version. So I actually there is some problem with the installed initiator or installer. We can, I think that's the maximum feature we can discuss, right? All the possible features are too much common, like we have this option to upload the slide content. Now this start is to start the play on the PPTs, right? So with this we can play on the uploaded PPTs during the recording, and then we have these options to play. The display button is to show the preview of the recorded video. Then this upload is option is to upload the recorded video, right? This is eventually will be used in the last. Along with it, we have some additional buttons, like here you can see we have 3-4 options. Like by using these kind of pens, we can write, suppose during the explanation or recording the video, if you want to mark something, if you want to add something, so by using these different colored pens, you can note down or you can mark something into the PPT content. Similarly, if you want to erase something, you can directly use. So these are the some kind of common sense based utilities into the presentation tube. And this presentation tube is one of the simplest form of recording a video, right? Because it is not having any limitation on the time, right? So you can record a video of around 30 minutes or 40 minutes, right? So, but it is again preferred to have a small size, small length video whenever we are discussing something with the student or maybe for the students. So actually this thing is a problem, that it is not initiating or it is not activating the installed version of the system. So, but most of the features I have discussed, I have shared with you that how they are being used by the different users who are using these applications, and how these features can be possibly used in a different way for different preferred settings. So that's it from my side actually. So these are the two things actually I have to share with you.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, yes sir. So if you have any query.
It's okay. I think presentation tube, whatever you have installed is fine. Maybe some problem is there. I can show it for if it is desired to show, then I can show that how it works actually. Okay.
Yeah, so
So this,
Anamika ma'am asking is, can we combine a video and PPT as a single video? So video
yes,
means,
yes, exactly,
yes,
exactly. I'm just showing that how it will work basically.
yeah.
Let's see.
So Anup sir, are you trying to share some kind of, yeah, so that's
Yeah,
okay.
I've
We can do
said
that.
that. I think my screen is visible. Okay.
It is visible, sir.
Yeah, this is the presentation tube. Basically, what we have to do, presentation tube starts here. We can record the video, but having PPT is the necessary condition. Most of the cases. Okay. So first of all, what we will do, we will just we can add on the camera and select the camera. This camera we are just looking for exactly from the same camera. Just connected from here in the this Google Meet. So first of all, there is need to add the slide. We have to open the slide. Let's find. We have to upload the slide. I have slide on the system. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So this is the slides we have already. And so let's see here the different options. And according to this, we can select slide only. We can select cam, and cam is not working basically. I don't know because it may be I'm connected from the same camera.
Sir, we
Here.
can do one thing. We can disable the video in Google Meet and then
Yeah,
enable a video. That's one we can do.
maybe just I'm just looking whether we can do this or not.
It will work surely because it is now available for other uses.
No, it's not showing here.
Okay, let's try again. Can we switch off the camera and again by using this camera button in the area of here?
Here.
No, on the top. Yes.
Maybe.
On and off. Again, switch on and then select the camera. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's working. It's working. Actually, this is the thing. Here, there are four basic options as I had discussed. Either you can keep here your slide, or camera only, or camera beside this camera. Your slide will be here, and your video recording that is structured by the camera will be here. Or you can just take this. Yes, again, it is already shared. So here you can change the position of this camera besides. I think it should have different. It should have different position. Let me.
No, so if you select the cam over, that's the fourth mode. So if you click on the cam over, you can simply
Actually,
yeah.
yes. We can see. We can place this video anywhere where we want on the slide, and we can start recording the video. So let's see. Just record the video. So here I will started. This is the basically 5 seconds it takes. Okay, thank you. This is the recording in the topics of the data science and deep learning, and this is the very fundamental. And the second slide you can just move from here. Yeah, this is the second slide. This is the fundamental of the deep learning, and the next slide. Yes. These are things means we can explain the, about the PPT here and all those things, and your video will be also along with this. And Whenever it is recorded, means recording completed, you can just stop. Okay. After stopping, it will means you can just save it as demo one maybe. You can say moving to desktop. And one thing, we can directly upload it over the presentation tube file. There is a database of the presentation tube where you can upload this video directly there, and you can share the link directly, and anyone can access from there also. So let's see what is recorded here. I think this is.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not playing the audio because it is.
No,
It
audio.
is,
Actually,
yeah.
audio is. I'm able to.
It is available to you actually because
Yeah.
it is.
I'm able
mic
to-
is plugged.
I'm able to listen the audio. So in this way, you can just record any video along with the PPT. But PPT, having PPT is the very basic condition in this kind of means this presentation too. So the another problem that happens in many cases that suppose we are using the Google Classroom and we are recording the videos, such videos, and we have to upload in every class. And as in the first session, I have discussed that for every course, we have to create a course of at least 1 week. We have to upload an introductory video of maybe 3 to 5 minutes. So that introductory video we can just create from either the screencast or from presentation view. Okay. So the next problem what happened here, as we have just discussed, next problem what happened here is the problem related to the size of the video. Because suppose we have recorded the video of maybe half an hour or 40 minutes, 45 minutes as one full lecture, then the size of video becomes too large. And if we keep on uploading into Classroom that uses the space of the Google Drive of the same email ID, Gmail ID, on which it is just created. So the space that is just provided freely available space just basically becomes insufficient for the lectures. Then there is need to compress these video because these video must be compressed, and after compression, if we upload them, maybe more videos we can upload there. So there are different tools, maybe that tools will be discussed in the further sessions, maybe today after tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Okay. So one of the tool I want to discuss that is mostly used by the different peoples, and that is Handbrake. Handbrake is one of the very simple tools that is used to compress the video, and you can install first of all Handbrake. Let's see. Handbrake download. We can see here Handbrake is available for different operating system. This is for Mac operating system, Windows operating system, Linux operating system. Then we have to go for Windows operating system. Let's see. Yeah, it is downloading here. Maybe it will take 2 minutes to download. I will brief in green. Last time it will take around 2 minutes to download. Once you download, you have to install it. After installing, the approach is very simple. You can just upload the video there, and you have to just configure according to your need. What is the need of the video? Because in many cases, suppose we are just looking for such a video that should have quality. We want to keep the quality as it is, and along with quality, if you want to capture the video or compress the video, then we have to configure differently. Otherwise, if you want to deliver some message, and message may be delivered in less quality video, because if the things are visible, then in case of educational video, it is not necessary that every time it is not necessary. Many times, in some time maybe it is necessary if you want to just discuss some features and all those things. Means that the visual perception is important in that case. Quality is important. In the other case, quality of the video can be managed. See? Yes, this is the handbrake. Now, what we have to do, we have to install it. Yes, it's okay. Yes. You can see here, I think my screen is visible. Here the shortcut of this handbrake is available on the desktop. We can open this handbrake from here. Let's see. This is the this is the home page of this. Basically, the page of this handbrake. Yeah. Either you can do that, or you can do it from here, from anywhere. This is the base. Here you have to upload uh, a video you want to compress. Let's say there are two types of option here. The first is the if you want to upload the folder, whole folder, you can select this. If you want to upload a single file, you can select this one. Let's see what is the size of this one. What I have recorded. First of all, I have to find the size. Then we will see that whether it is compressed or not. Initial size is 5.49. Its quality is not very good already, so it may have the chance that the size that will be reduced will be less for this one. Demo. Let's see. There are different options here. The first option is summary, and we have to video format is MP4, and here because these videos should be and we are just basically compressing these video for the purpose of uploading on the wave firmware, so it should be wave optimized. It's not uploaded.
So let's take another video. Any other video?
Yeah, it's valid source are not defined here. Just take,
File type is not supporting it.
yeah, actually I have to change it. We can change. Maybe we have different video. Actually, this is video. I don't find any video here. Let's try to change the format of this. Maybe can upload it. Actually, size is not sufficient because out of 5 MB, how much it will reduce?
So there must be some video in this folder, machine learning, because you have taken out some videos to demonstrate with one of the
No, I
MVP.
have not
Okay.
used this system for last 6 months. Yeah, NPTEL video. Yes. So what can I do? I can download some video from your.
You can do one thing. We can take out a small video from YouTube itself,
So you have to download.
or maybe you can. Is it possible you to access the folder which we have created today on the morning session? You need to go to the Spoke account and then to its Google Drive folder. There is this video available of morning session. So let's try to basically compress it.
Let's see. Let's try to.
So it will take 3 to 4 minutes to download it and simply upload it. So if it is a Spoke account, yeah, it is a Spoke. Okay, I think he's trying. Dr. Anup is trying to connect to his system and tries to download a simple video. Right. So let's wait for him to join. Yes, sir. Anisha, actually MP4 is also okay. There are few formats which are not supported by this Handbrake software. Actually, it is not perfectly working with Handbrake, but most of the formats are well supported by MP4. So he might be connecting for different purposes, right? So one of the question which I am getting from the different faculties or different colleagues that how to engage overall a online class, right? So what I have done, actually, I have created naturally a Google Classroom platform. So Google Classroom platform is good to deliver the content, is to share the content. So for me, Google Classroom is a simple platform. It is not having any additional feature to support your teaching. We have to arrange all these kind of services, right? So I think okay, we will discuss this thing. Yes, sir. Anup sir, yes, sir, please.
Yeah, actually, sorry for this disconnection. There is a small problem. Problem is I have downloaded the video from this from Google Drive, but it is 1 hour, almost 2 hour video, and it will take pretty much time to compress. Okay, so I will explain the fundamental how I have to do here. The setting. Okay, and maybe I'm selecting any folder.
So you need to share the screen, sir.
Okay, the screen is not there. Let me.
All
No. I think my screen is visible now.
Yes, yes, yes.
Uh, let's see. Suppose I just select a folder here, maybe the academy or complete folder notes. There is some problem. Let's see. So just a second. It's just very small duration, that's why it's not. Uh, Actually, what you have to do, you have to just upload the video and you have to just set the format here. Basically, it is for yeah, it should be for maybe web optimized. That's why we have to select here. And in case of dimension, here we can select the dimension as per quality we are expecting. But in most of the cases, we just select the dimension as the source is, and we use the filter. In the filter, default value we can take, and once we have just set configure this setting, then we will start encode. Once we will start encode, video will be encoded after a time. Maybe it will take 5 or 10 minutes depending on the size of the video. And once it is encoded, the option for saving the video will be appear here, and you can save it. Once it is compressed, you can upload it where you want, because the size will be reduced by more than 50%, and the quality will be not reduced basically. And if you just change the filter, basically that is in configuration, it is defined. You will find in the next filter option that if you just set that the quality with respect to the original source video, because you are setting very less, then quality may reduce. But in every case, what I have just done already, that video is quite good for the purpose of education, means purpose of delivery of something. So this can be used. I think it's okay, so you can continue.
Right. So let me resume discussing that one particular part which I am sharing, that like how to engage this whole classroom thing, how to engage the discussions with the student, how to deliver the video. So one thing which I have adopted, the approach of Google Classroom, where primarily I have created naturally a classroom for course which I have designated to deliver. Right. So let me share a few screens where I will be highlighting you to how not how to create, but how I have created now, how I have basically set up this whole environment to engage the classroom discussion. Right. So basically, after getting into this online scenario, I have created a typical Google Classroom platform. I have configured that classroom naturally. So this is how. So this course I am engaging in this semester along with the students. So this is how I have configured. So now naturally here I have put it the database, subject code, and course name. And once you create all these possible informations related to course, you can immediately start doing these kind of activities. Like in a Google Classroom, there are different basic features available. So you can post assignments, quiz assignments, questions, material, and reuse post. So these are the basic features which are available to basically submit or publish something along with the students, right? So these are the five basically elements or type which we can share with the students using Google Classroom platform, right? So these are the only five possible elements or types. So within that, naturally, we have this option to see whether all our students are enrolled or not, right? So one of the question primarily occurs with each and every teacher that how do I know that this student is of my class and what is his roll number? So for that, we cannot do anything on Google Classroom because this information about the student is appearing and it is getting extracted or getting retrieved from his Google account profile. So we can directly request the student that okay, you need to rename your information. You need to change the information in your Google profile account, right? So there you can modify like Akash Yadav _11 something, the roll number. So with that we can have this idea about that this student is having this roll number. That's the only way out. Now naturally the last component will be the grading part. So whatever instructions or quizzes we have conducted for a course, it will be available here, and eventually at the end of the semester we can basically take out all the possible grades available and we can summarize or generate a simple grade or simple CGPA score, right? So that's the simplistic features the Google Classroom is providing. Now let's come back to the classroom part where we are creating different possible options like assignments, quizzes, questions, materials. So material is something where or through which we will be posting different classroom related contents along with the students. Like in my case, I have created few announcements. Here you can see these are the few instructions I have shared with the students like announcements. So you can primarily create the topics, right? So by clicking here, you can have new topic here, plugged here. So by configuring these things, you can simply make these things available to the students. So regularly, which activity I used to perform, simply posting materials, right? And along with it, if you plan for some examination, classroom examination, you can create a quiz, actually, right? So like in my case, I have created this quiz called reflection quiz. It was conducted on 29th of August, and if you can see clearly that out of 100 students, only 96 has been appeared, and these 96 students has been graded, right? So whenever we create this kind of thing, it will immediately create a Google form, right? It will immediately initialize the Google form. On that Google form, you can build your questions. Questions naturally of form any type. It can be of MCQ, it can be of any type, right? So there is this kind of misconception that we can have only MCQ based question through Google form. So that is naturally the primary feature which Google form is offering to you. But along with it, we can conduct a examination or assessment which will have kind of mixture of both type of questions, right? So this part I think most of us are familiar that how to conduct examination with MCQ, and along with it, we can have other questions also to conduct assessment with the student, right? So assignments and these materials, so material and assignment, quiz assignment. So these two are something which we are doing in a frequent way. There is one additional feature which is plugged in recent years in the Google Classroom. It is called rubrics-based assessment. So this rubric-based assignment is kind of qualitative assessment, qualitative and quantitative assessment of some assignment or some kind of examination. So it will be this rubric-based assignment will be discussed on the I think on the 26th of September will be our expert Dr. Sriram Pandey, right? So that is something which is new to I think all of us. Which we are assuming that we are expert on Google Scholar, Google Classroom. So it will be having some kind of advantage by attending this session. We will have some kind of familiarity with this rubrics-based assessment part, right? So I think the Google Classroom is advantageous to the faculty or the person who are engaging some kind of basic basic level of assessments or basic way of assessing the students, right? The feature I consider this grading feature is somewhat helpful, or it is enabler to the teacher who is engaging a lot of assessment activities through this Google Classroom activity, right? That's one part. Now, if you see that this classroom video is somewhat important, and how basically we can record a simplest way by adopting simple technology, or by using simple application, how to record a simple video. So my way of recording it to basically based on the Google Meet itself. So I used to conduct daily lectures along with the students. So in the presence of a student in the Google Meet, I used to record the lectures of each and every discussion. And after recording these lectures, I used to post them, and I used to share these videos through, you can see, either directly, or maybe you can see, let me see. So this is how I am posting lecture video. So like lecture number 9, modeling. So this is the concept, name of concept which is discussed, right? And video and lecture notes both. So now actually I used to share lecture notes along with the lecture video with the students. And here I have added the URL, the link of video which is uploaded in Google Drive as well as in the YouTube. So by clicking here, students might have an idea about the concept. So this is how actually I used to share this video. Let me do it. So let me stop here. Let me share a video, which might be Chrome tab, and you can see the quality of the video which is recorded through simple Google Meet
relationship in the form of relationship.
So I hope audio is also available now.
Cardinality ratio, that is sufficient actually, right?
Yes,
So whenever it is required, possibility that
Yeah, so
entities
on a particular day I was discussing some graphical
number
based.
of tuples, right? Number of tuples in an entity.
So you can see these number of views has been already done by the user, different students. So students are used to see the videos whenever they want to see some concept. Whenever they want to understand some concept, they immediately go to the YouTube, because YouTube is available in each application, or it is easily accessible. So instead of going into the Google Drive folder, they used to go to the YouTube and see this video. So that's what I think as a teacher we can do. So I have simply created a playlist in my YouTube account, right? And in that playlist, I have attached all the possible videos which are available, so that the student can see all those videos in one go. So it is kind of plugging all the videos in one playlist. So this is the playlist I have created. So in this playlist, all the videos till lecture 12 has been uploaded. So this YouTube arrangement is just to make sure that the videos of lecture is being easily accessible to the student, right? So it is not to populate for the larger audience, right? So that's the simple purpose, is to have availability of the video for the students, because at least YouTube can be accessible by each and every student in a free way, or maybe any kind of platform, right? So this is a simple two-step process. Simply engage a class in Google Meet and keep the recording of Google Meet, and then simply upload it on the YouTube. So because with uploading on YouTube, we can say that content is widely accessible or widely available to the students, right? So I think that's it from my side. That's what I can share with you, that how I'm engaging and how we can engage a simple online class discussion with the students, right? So Anup sir, do we need to discuss any other things?
We can to discuss actually, because Moodle is one of the tools, Moodle or Canvas, that is used today for teaching learning process here.
Right.
And one of the most important quadrant of this teaching learning process is evaluation, because as per an active etc., we have this instructed to conduct the medicine examination via online platform, and there is no specific tools provided. Okay, so tools here is for what tool we can use for better, basically to better way. We cannot ensure about 100% that the way we are just conducting will be secure enough. Okay, but Moodle is basically what I think is one of the safest mode where we can conduct this evaluation process, and Moodle will be discussed in this maybe for 2 days. It will be discussed in detail. So I don't think anything else is there. If any question from audience is, then we can answer regarding any problem or anything in teaching learning process in this online mode.
Yeah. So I request participants to raise some questions so that we can take, and we will be closing.
Because
Yes.
just take this session as open, because I have a policy for this inconvenience regarding case Srinivasan, but just take it as open and you can ask anything what you have in mind. It's not
Yes.
kind of some specific.
So now I would like to invite participants to raise their doubts, question, anything, any meaning, observation, anything.
Regarding anything,
So,
it's
yes.
open. Yes, anyone, please. Anyone from Bikaner? Neil is Bikaner? Yeah, Namika ma'am has a question. Can any Google class already created be deleted? You can delete, but it will remain there until you delete it. Okay, because it's basically the space that it takes. It uses Google Classroom, uses it from your Google Drive. So until you will delete, it will remain there. You can delete. There is often to delete the Google Classroom, but actually what happens? What we do basically, as we have to keep the record of the student for at least 3 years. Okay, so I do keep that until 3 years, because I have almost 3 record regarding the subject what I have just engaged 3 years before in Google Classroom. So you can delete, but if it is not necessary, just keep it remain there. For a long time, basically, you can track any time that what you have just taught them, what material you have uploaded, and any record regarding the students can also be accessed. Yeah, another question is attendance link.
So we are not maintaining any attendance link, right? So we are capturing the participant attendance through a kind of automated fashion. So we are keeping record of all the participants who are attending the sessions, right? So attendance is being captured in automated fashion. So we are not maintaining any link.
Actually, there is an extension in the Google Classroom from which we
Google
can
Google Meet, yeah, there is extension for Google Meet, sir, where we can.
in the Google Chrome, extension in the Google Chrome.
Yes.
Okay, that can that will basically maintain that at what time you have just entered and at what time you have left. You have, suppose you entered many times, and all the record will be there. So that will be just captured by the system, and there is no problem if you are engaging. There is no problem. You have not to worry about. We take care of that. We have to submit assignment. Yes, the problem is we have to submit the assignment. Regarding every assignment, I think Vikram sir will discuss about whether we have to create a Google Classroom or
Yes, Google Classroom approach. So we will be creating a Google Classroom, right? So by the today evening, I will be sharing a Google Classroom code, right? And we request you to join that Google Classroom, and on that itself, we will be uploading the assignment, right? So along with, so when I will be creating this Google Classroom, I will be sharing the classroom code with you, and on that classroom itself, I will be posting the basically assignment. On that, you can upload this assignment. Yeah, so Anamika ma'am is again having a question. right? How to restore a deleted assignment.
How it will be deleted? I don't think that it will be deleted because I'm taking this. I'm using this Google Classroom from last 3 years almost. Okay, 2 3 years. And if it will be deleted, there is no problem. We will concern. We will just post to you to upload it again. Okay. You have not to worry.
Okay, so we are still waiting for other participants to raise some question or some query or some suggestions.
You can
Suggestions are
unmute
also suggestions
You can
are also.
unmute and, yeah, you can unmute and directly can ask something if you want. So you need to write there. Just unmute and ask. We can discuss anything. One thing I want to make sure that the sessions day tomorrow and day after tomorrow, from tomorrow and onwards, will be very useful for you for all the academicians because we will discuss there regarding tomorrow. They will discuss about how to create online content like videos and all those things, how OBS tool works, how we can mix and how we can just create different type of video that can be uploaded for professional purpose. Professional in the sense means because in this stage we just basically record video, not in very in the form that what we see as in the NPTEL video. There are something like some audio, some introductory videos, and all those things are there. How we can create video at that level, and how we can introduce anything else other than the recording. All those things we will discuss maybe tomorrow and day after tomorrow. And after that, Creative Commons as far as just distributed the studio. Creative Commons is one of the very important thing for academicians because if you are you are basically in academics, then you must know, we must know basically that what exactly is the licensing, what is the basic of the licensing, because we are using different resources from the online mode. Okay, so without knowing this thing or without knowing the licensing mechanism, how we can publish this video in this open platform, whether it will be used or misused or abused, we don't know. That's why that thing is essentially important for each of the person who is in academy. So for today, it may be in second session that server is not available, then it may have some problem to you, but we are sure that from tomorrow and onwards, you will enjoy the session. If any question you have, please you can ask and we will answer.
Yeah, so I think we can wait for 1 or 2 minutes for that. Otherwise, we can close the session, today's session, right? And we'll start tomorrow and day after tomorrow, and then last 2 day sessions. So we expect that these remaining sessions to be purely hands-on basis. Yeah, so this is something common to each and every person who is related to teaching fraternity, that we are having this kind of data losing, less data, slow data, something related to data performance.
Actually, ma'am, you can just basically the e-content. If you create the e-content, suppose you are not creating a video, you are creating the e-content and as the first quadrant of this teaching learning process, and you can say that content and you can explain. Otherwise, if you explain the things that are very core thing, you can record it and you can just compress the video. And if the video size will be less, then it can be accessed by the student by using less amount of data. And
yes, so basically, whenever we are engaging online kind of discussion or online kind of teaching, the objective is to deliver content, deliver our notes, deliver teacher specific discussion. So there are various modes of it. Basically, the best mode is actually to record a video, then share this video with the student. That's one part. Second alternative, we can have record a low quality video. At least audio should be clear, right? That's one part. another alternative, we can have a record audio, and along with audio we can have a kind of notes which is prepared by a teacher. So in my case, I usually prepare 2 or 3 page of document, text documents. Along with video lecture, I used to share these 2 page or 3 page notes to the students, so they can easily reference the content, they can refer the notes, or they can refer the concept in the notes also. So whenever we are having this limitation of data availability, low data, less data, so it is better to go for the conventional way of approaching. Like conventional way means we can have a 2 page document, we can share the page of PDF, we can share the simple click also. So we can note down the concepts on a white paper, simply make a click on that, or we can add some audio into this captured images. So it is better to go for our approach where we do not have video. So in case of low data or less data, it is better to go for without video. So audio and content, audio and image, audio and a file is also okay.
Yeah, there are different mobile tools where you can record, as sir has discussed, audio and content. You can just open the content and you can export in audio. And it takes very less amount of the size of the recording will be very less as audio book kind of things. Okay, so you can just distribute that thing, and actually the delivery is important in many subjects. Depends on the subject. Suppose we are just teaching a subject that is very much mathematical. Even with the PPT, we cannot deliver much. So we have to go for the classroom teaching or tabletop videos. We can write on this. That will be discussed tomorrow, basically. And in that approach, depending on the nature of the subject, you can just use different other methods that can basically use less amount of size, basically less size for the content creation. So it is not a specific one. It depends on what is the nature of subject you are going to.
Yeah, so I think with this, one thing I want to highlight that these kind of scenarios, like whenever we have some kind of limitation in online teaching, so we have one hold reserve for basically all kind of these scenarios. So how to handle these situations while teaching online. So whenever we have some constraint on data, some constraint on internet availability, so we have reserved third day of FDP for these kind of setups. So how to create a small size video, a small size audio with notes. So all these setups will be discussed on the third day of FDP, which is on the 25th actually. All right. So it is widely mentioned in the schedule also. Right, so there is a question, Amish sir is asking, okay, which video and audio format are best optimum for recording? Anup sir, please respond to this question.
Actually, sir, it depends on what exactly you are looking for. It will be discussed tomorrow, but I can just say you describe you. Actually, in many cases, as we have discussed, in many cases, if you are looking for the quality, okay, if we are looking for the quality, then the format may be different. And if we are looking for even the less quality, and because in many cases, suppose the images are there and we are looking for crystal clear things. Okay, so quality of video is important, and maybe the pixel values corresponding to the videos should be high. Means high data rate should be there. On average, the data rate is 30 frames. Okay, in other cases we can have more than 30, and we can just reduce the 30. And in most of the format we can do this. There are different tools where we can just reduce the format this frame rate, and we can just increase the frame rate. So this depends on the need basically, and this thing we will discuss in detail tomorrow. So we have to, I think,
Right. So I think with this remark, we can close today's session, right, sir? Before 10 minutes before the actual time schedule which we have planned for. This is a little unfortunate as well as disappointing also for the participant, right? Because we have taken out this 2-hour slots from our life, and we have not get a lot of expected things into this in this 2-hour session. But we'll try to make out for this particular loss of time, right? So we'll take this as a challenge, and let's use next 4 days of this FDP to fill this loss, right? And we will ensure that we will basically fill this gap in the coming 8 actually sessions, right? So naturally, tomorrow and after tomorrow, which is the second and third FDP, is primarily planned for two types of content, video and as well as how to deliver it. And the last 2 days are planned for a different kind of or different quadrant of actually online teaching. So with this note, I would like to thank you, actually participant, to be available with us for this session, and I expect that we will be joining tomorrow by 10:30. So to join morning session, we need to use the first meeting code, which today actually morning we have used one meeting code. That meeting code will be useful for the all morning sessions on each day, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and subsequent days. And this current meeting ID which we are using right now will be useful for all the day for the evening session. So kindly keep those 2 meeting IDs with yourself, that because it will be useful to join the subsequent or upcoming session on the upcoming days. Right, sir? So I think let's close this session. Thank you.
So you can just